Where do you think the offensive issues are coming from right now? Obviously, that's a great defense.
Issues coming from?
Yeah.
We have a guy that averaged 37 a game. What did he average, 35 this year? 33 and a half?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you asking?
Okay, well, I'm asking, like you guys...
There's the issues right there. We're playing against the #1 defensive team in the NBA.
The Lakers should be one of the easiest success stories in the NBA right now. They have a once-in-a-generation talent in LeBron James, a head coach willing to speak openly about what he sees, and a roster that looks strong enough on paper to stay competitive. But behind the scenes, the situation appears far more complicated than the polished version fans watch on television. Based on recent reports and reactions from within the organization, things inside the building may be much more chaotic than they seem from the outside.
As far as the ratings and everything, and when you play against great defenses, you have to have guys that can attract multiple defenders on the floor at all time. Even I felt like we had great shots. We got some great shots tonight. We missed them. But when you play against the world champions, having a guy that averages 34, 6 and 8 and 8 and 9, whatever the hell, that's special.
At this point, the Lakers situation goes far beyond a simple discussion about wins and losses. The bigger story is the growing tension behind the scenes. It's about frustration building within the organization. It's about a locker room that appears divided into separate groups and a head coach who finally reached a point where he felt compelled to say what many around the league had reportedly been thinking for months. Once J.J. Redick started voicing those concerns publicly, the atmosphere surrounding the Lakers seemed to shift completely. Suddenly, everything felt different. This is the side of the LeBron James conversation that rarely gets attention. His public profile remains enormous. His brand is still one of the most influential in sports. His legacy is backed by championships, records, iconic performances, and more than 2 decades of greatness. But inside an NBA locker room, reputation alone doesn't win games. Success depends on trust, discipline, communication, and accountability. According to reports, those are the areas where cracks began to appear. The situation reportedly intensified around Christmas Day 2025 when the Lakers suffered a lopsided 119-96 defeat against the Houston Rockets. This wasn't simply another loss on the schedule. It was the kind of performance that raises serious concerns about a team's direction. The Rockets played with confidence, pace, and cohesion. Their offense flowed naturally, and every player seemed connected to the game plan. The Lakers, meanwhile, looked completely out of sync. They appeared uncertain about their roles, their positioning, and their responsibilities on the floor. Instead of functioning as a unified group, they looked like a team still searching for answers. That is when frustration reportedly began reaching a boiling point. What made the defeat even more significant was the timing. The game came shortly after LeBron's return from injury. This was supposed to be one of the first opportunities for the team to demonstrate that it was finally back at full strength. Instead, the opposite happened. The rhythm disappeared. The energy shifted. The chemistry looked different. And people both inside and outside the organization began asking the same uncomfortable question. Why does the team seem to struggle whenever LeBron returns to the lineup? That question helped make J.J. Redick's media appearances so controversial. He wasn't offering subtle hints. He repeatedly returned to the same concerns. The offense lacked structure. Execution was inconsistent. Spacing issues kept appearing. Rotations were breaking down. Players were making poor reads. With every press conference, his message became harder to ignore. The frustration was obvious, and he no longer seemed interested in hiding it. Following the loss to Houston, Redick addressed the media with a noticeably sharper tone. This wasn't the typical polished coach speak fans are used to hearing. There was visible irritation in his comments. It sounded like someone exhausted by watching the same problems continue week after week. He discussed the confusion on the floor, the broken offensive actions, the communication mistakes, and the team's inability to execute consistently in real time. Those comments immediately grabbed attention. Because when a head coach publicly sounds concerned about organization and structure, the criticism is rarely limited to one game. It usually points to larger issues within the team itself. According to reports, Redick had been signaling those concerns for weeks before that moment. After the Lakers lost to the Clippers on December 27, 2025, he spoke even more openly about the situation. He acknowledged that the team's execution had not been as sharp since LeBron returned to action. While he accepted part of the responsibility himself, as coaches often do, the message underneath was difficult to miss. Before LeBron's return, the Lakers appeared more organized and consistent. Once he rejoined the lineup, that sense of flow seemed to disappear.
He's hearing that noise, bro. You can't tell me he's not hearing that noise. He's not like,
oh, you see, he has kids.
Yeah.
They showing
Came
him.
out
Right.
like, why does everyone, paint me out to be the villain now? I'm like, bro, stop.
yeah.
Like how LeBron handles it though. He never says nothing. He handles it like the king.
He keeps it professional. Keeps it on the court.
He go crazy.
But again, when you comparing the two, like, why the fuck would Bron answer to Dylan Brooks?
Yeah.
Exactly. Who are you?
Who are you? Like, what have you done? Like,
Right.
why am I even having this with you?
That's where the discussion becomes uncomfortable. Because we're not talking about an ordinary role player here. We're talking about LeBron James, one of the most accomplished and influential athletes the sport has ever seen. So when a team appears more effective, or at least more connected, without him on the floor, people are naturally going to ask difficult questions. At that point, the conversation stops being about star power. It becomes about chemistry, spacing, timing, and whether the roster functions more smoothly within a balanced defensive structure. And according to the reports, that's exactly the issue many observers began focusing on. Before LeBron returned from his sciatic-related absence, the Lakers seemed to be finding their groove. They were stacking wins, playing with pace, and showing a level of cohesion that had been missing at times earlier in the season. Luka Doncic was orchestrating the offense, Austin Reeves was producing consistently, and Rui Hachimura was contributing valuable points while holding his own defensively. Everything looked organized. The ball was moving freely. Players appeared confident in their roles. The offense wasn't constantly stalling while everyone waited for one player to take over the possession. That matters because it paints the picture of a team that had discovered a successful rhythm without relying entirely on its longtime centerpiece. Look at those games against the Pelicans. Luka controlled the tempo, Reeves found scoring opportunities, and Rui fit naturally into the offensive flow. Then the rematch came, and the same formula worked again. Sharp ball movement, smart spacing, clean execution, players trusting the system and each other. That's the kind of basketball that makes opponents nervous. It's also the kind of rhythm that can become difficult to maintain when a dominant ball handler returns and naturally commands more possessions. And that's where the controversy really begins. According to the source, several team metrics declined after LeBron's return. The offense became less fluid. Turnovers increased. The disciplined structure that had previously been visible started giving way to confusion and inconsistency. Lineups that once looked effective suddenly appeared uncomfortable. The numbers raised concerns. The eye test raised concerns. And reportedly, so did the mood around the team. That led many people to wonder whether the issue was really about effort at all. Maybe it was more about style and fit. There's a major difference between a team operating within a shared system and a team constantly adjusting around the preferences of one dominant player. If the supporting cast is thriving one way and struggling another, fans are going to notice the contrast. And once they notice it, the discussion becomes impossible to avoid. Redick continued emphasizing another issue as well. He repeatedly pointed to mistakes that couldn't simply be blamed on bad luck. Too many turnovers. Too many missed reads. Too many broken possessions. Too many moments where players made the wrong decision at the worst possible time. When he criticized the team's inability to value possessions, it sounded like more than routine coaching frustration. It felt like a warning. There's a difference between telling players to clean things up and suggesting that the entire operation is breaking down because people aren't executing correctly. When coaches start talking that way publicly, people immediately begin wondering whether larger issues exist behind closed doors. Then came the reports of tension following the Christmas Day loss. According to the source, Redick and LeBron had a serious disagreement behind the scenes. Whether every detail is accurate is difficult to confirm from the outside, but the reporting suggested that something had changed. This didn't feel like a normal coach-player disagreement over strategy. It felt deeper than that. Something more significant appeared to be developing beneath the surface. Another moment that caught attention involved DeAndre Ayton. When reporters asked about Redick's comments regarding uncomfortable practices and meetings, Ayton reportedly laughed. And sometimes a reaction says more than a lengthy explanation ever could. When a coach openly expresses frustration and players respond casually, it creates the impression that nobody wants to fully address what's happening. That's the type of atmosphere that can slowly create problems within a locker. room. Then there's the LeBron factor, which naturally changes every discussion. The report suggests that Ayton acknowledged how difficult it can be for people to challenge LeBron on the court. If that's true, it would explain some of the tension surrounding accountability. Because once a player reaches that level of influence, teammates and coaches may begin treating situations differently. The normal balance of accountability becomes harder to maintain. Few people want to challenge a superstar directly. Few teammates want to question the team's biggest voice. Few coaches want to force major changes on a player with that level of stature. And over time, those dynamics can affect decision-making throughout an organization. That's also why history becomes part of the conversation. The source references a pattern critics have pointed to throughout LeBron's career. A coach arrives, things work initially, pressure builds, tension develops, and eventually the spotlight shifts toward the coach. Names like David Blatt and Frank Vogel are frequently brought into those discussions. Whether those comparisons are entirely fair is open to debate. But the perception exists, and perceptions often shape public narratives. As a result, when J.J. Redick publicly addressed issues involving organization, execution, and accountability, many people viewed it as more than frustration after a single loss. They saw it as a challenge to the existing power structure. They saw a coach unwilling to back down. They saw a moment that forced difficult questions about leadership, responsibility, and the direction of the franchise. And that's where Draymond Green entered the conversation.
Is if you invest time in said thing, you get better at that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing then does more for you than you're necessary. Like, I've invested so much time in the basketball. Basketball now does more for me than I do for the game of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can invest your time in said thing, you can possibly be great at something. So you probably shouldn't invest your time in wondering about our relationship. But yeah, how I separate the two though is like, at the end of the day, I'm trying to win these basketball games and I'm trying to win these championships.
And that's where things become extremely complicated. Because no matter what decision is made, there are consequences. If management backs the coach, the franchise star may feel undermined. If they side with the superstar, the coach's authority can immediately take a hit. And if the front office tries to remain neutral, everyone in the building notices. The uncertainty sticks around. The questions never fully go away. And in a professional locker room, unresolved. Tension can damage trust far faster than a few missed shots ever could. That's why the numbers and on-court results have become such a major part of this conversation. According to the source, some of the Lakers' most effective basketball came before LeBron returned to the lineup, not afterward. For a player of LeBron's stature, that's a difficult statement for many fans to hear. But it's also one of the main reasons this debate has gained so much attention. People aren't reacting only to the drama. They're reacting to the perception that the team looked more organized and efficient when the offense wasn't revolving around a single player every possession. And when Luka Doncic is running the show, that contrast becomes even more noticeable. His arrival has changed the direction of the franchise. That's not speculation. That's the reality the Lakers appear to be preparing for moving forward. Luka represents the future. He's the centerpiece around which the team can build for years to come. He's becoming the player who dictates the pace, shapes the offensive identity, and influences the overall development of the roster. The moment the Lakers brought him in, the timeline of the organization shifted. What makes Luka so important isn't just his ability to score points. It's the way he organizes the offense. He controls tempo, creates structure, and helps everyone around him settle into their roles. Players like Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura appear more comfortable within that system. Role players become more involved. The offense flows more naturally. Decisions are made quicker. The ball moves with purpose. The entire team often looks more connected on the floor. That's why this discussion has become so controversial. Because critics argue that when the offense becomes overly dependent on LeBron controlling every action, the team can lose some of that natural rhythm. And for many fans, that's a difficult idea to accept. To be clear, nobody is questioning LeBron's legacy. Nobody is ignoring his accomplishments. Nobody is suddenly claiming he isn't one of the greatest players in basketball history. That isn't the debate at all. The real question being asked is whether his current style of play, his influence over possessions, and his need to control the flow of the game still fit this version of the Lakers as effectively as they once did. That's the question hanging over the franchise right now. And until the Lakers consistently prove otherwise on the court, that discussion isn't going away anytime soon. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to subscribe for more NBA analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and in-depth basketball discussions. And let us know your opinion in the comments below. Because one thing is certain, the conversation surrounding the Lakers is only becoming more intense.